All right, all right. So I guess we can get on to one of the main things we're gonna be talking about today. It's Cyraxx. I wasn't watching too much of it, but I was seeing the titles and I was like, this is perfect. This is perfect. Like,
what's up, everyone? I'm here today to tell my story about how I become a victim of online domestic terrorism. A lot of people think that online terrorism isn't the thing, but I'm here to tell you guys, as somebody that has lived through it and is still living through it, it is a very real thing. You see, my story starts
oh
7 years ago.
Oh no. Why do we have to start off with the 7-year story off the rip?
A fake person to try to get my attention. He had 2 separate accounts. He had his real account that he uses, and then he made a fake one. And he had one of those little trolls say, hey dude, like, this guy's not the real Marty, I know the real Marty. And so that whole thing went on. I bought into it, not knowing. You know, at the time I was just being a genuinely good person, you know. I went looking for the real Music Biz Marty to let him know, hey, you know.
This is my favorite part of the 7-year story. I don't care how many times you hear it, this part always cracks me up. Imagine this, guys. You're just on Facebook Live, you're just screwing around, and then all of a sudden some guy comes in there is hating on you, and then you decide to go super detective. You're Batman all of a sudden for some reason, and you're going to figure out who this troll is. But in your investigation, you discover that is not the actual man. The actual Music Business Marty is someone else entirely. So you go ahead, you walk over, well, excuse me, you go to Music Biz Marty and you're like, hey man, somebody was trolling me in your name. And then Music Biz Marty looks at you like, wow, you do look easy. Let's see how easy it is. And that is how you ruin your life. You literally find your own boogeyman. That is some insane work to find your own biggest enemy.
And at the time he's like, oh thanks, you know, whatever. Well, those interactions with him became more and more frequent. So that I know that he was slowly luring me in to a trap. He was luring me into a trap to trust him. He tried befriending me, and I started to kind of see through it. You know, I could tell something was up, so I kind of brushed him off. Like, I wasn't about it. I was kind about it.
Go ahead.
I was very kind about it.
I'm gonna be Pawzilla.
You know, I turned him away gently. You know, I kind of told him, look, dude, like, I'm not interested, you know, whatever. Well, he didn't like that very much. So what he did was he stepped back for a few years and devised a scheme that would change my entire life.
Now, I mean, I'm only aware, well, 2020, that's around 6 years ago. When did Marty ever step back? I don't remember there being a time where Cyraxx was like, okay, I'm free from Marty. The only time Marty wasn't messing with Raxo was when he was bored. That had to be the only time. I remember watching the streams back in the day, and like, if Marty wasn't having it, he just tell all of his viewers they're all regards for wanting to watch Cyraxx. They need to get a life, and then he would just watch Cyraxx a little bit later on. That was basically the moral of the story when it came to like Marty leaving Cyraxx alone. You know, in my soul, I feel like maybe he just couldn't get a hold of Rax during those times. Like, we'll extend this.
So people say like, oh, what he did is not illegal. That is a lie.
No.
What the government said morally and emotionally and just in general, what he did is illegal in the eyes of the law in a lot of states. A lot of officers will say that what he did is illegal. Because I didn't take his offer, he decided to hire somebody who is very much hated on the internet by the name of Mass Troll Mafia, who's in and out of court for many years, lost her kids several times over to the state, and did a lot of unbecoming things to garner attention. And she would do anything she could to get attention. She didn't care whether it was good or bad. She did not care. And so what he did was he devised a plan after I turned him down over the years. And what I mean by turning him down, there was a point in time where after he tried to be nice to me, he tried to make a pass at me in that way, as in a romantic pass at me, and I turned him down.
Well, wasn't Nicole trolling Cyraxx as well? So, Cyraxx, if Marty and his girlfriend are trolling you at the same time, wouldn't that be like a big hint that maybe Marty is just messing with you about the relationship stuff? It's kind of insane that you would... I think Cyraxx holds on to this because he wants to. Like, out of all the lies that Cyraxx has been told by Marty, the one thing he just holds on to dearly with all of his life is, okay, Marty said he was in love with me once. Now he was going to be my lover. He wanted to be my lover. Why do you hold on to this so fondly, Cyraxx? Everything else, lies. Marty doesn't tell the truth. Wants to be in a relationship with you? Well, you know, I mean, I considered it, but I had to turn him down gently. For Cyraxx, this was like a broken relationship, you know, scorned ex-lovers. For Marty, it was just something funny to do.
Because I'm not gay, I'm not bisexual, I'm straight. You know? And at the time, I had a girlfriend who everybody knows was Heather. The same Heather that nobody liked. The same one that quote-unquote died, who personally I think is alive.
Yo, your life is messed up when you can't tell if someone's passed or not.
But after I turned him down, after he made a pass at me, he got angry because I turned him away. So he hired Mass Troll Mafia to do something very illegal and very... He hired Mass Troll Mafia to do an illegal thing on me. Like, say that you're doing a sting on somebody, like, prime example. Take one of the most famous on YouTube, EDP. EDP approached
Don't defend him.
Victims first.
Cyraxx, you are notorious for getting like on Facebook after week-long bans and then immediately sending your stuff to people who don't want it. You just get on message with somebody and you're casually talking to them, and we saw this in the John text as well. They're like, oh hey Cyraxx, heard your life's been pretty bad here recently. He's like, yeah, you want to see my... And it's like, that's how the conversations go. You just jump straight to the perv side to it. You are the reason people say don't talk to strangers. You are the prime example of that.
Didn't do that. She approached me first. Tricked me into thinking that she was of age. Tricked me into sending certain photos. And then sent a photo of, at the time, who I believed to be an of-age female.
That's crazy.
Little
Is
did
he
I know
talking
that
about
later on
Kate?
down the line, that photo she sent, I would soon find out, was her 15-year-old daughter, who was 15 at the time, and pretend to be underage right after. Right after she sent that photo, she went in and changed her age. And sadly enough, she got away with it. Talk to me. I showed them the screenshots and they said that I'm not. Well, because of that, I ended up getting harassed a lot. And it started out with little things. You know, it started out with stupid, snarky comments. You know, people just talking. But then Tibbs TV came along after several years and decided to befriend me. Little did I know that that was a setup. He tried to set up a sting on me, and I caught the guy that was trying to do it. And I told the guy, like, dude, I know you're of age. I know you're not a kid. What the fuck do you want?
Yeah, that's how you do it. After you do all the grime, you just hit them up like, hey, listen. Hey, listen. I know you're just a faker. I know you fake, right? You're super old. And wait, why is it a guy? See, Cyraxx, you're falling back on your story a little bit. You know, sometimes I think it's funny to do this, but I don't like to do it. But you are falling back on your story that you wouldn't go out with Marty.
He didn't care. So what did he do? He let me be for a while, for about 3 or 4 days, and then he came back and decided to blackmail me after my own dad had sat there and in front of over 1,000 people disowned me on a live stream. Tibbs TV sat right there and blackmailed me and said, either I hand over all my info that I had at the time to him, and I admit to being a
what?
Or he was
okay.
going to take everything that
Some
he had,
Tibbs.
give it to my dad and his wife, and use it against me to help them sue me for defamation of character and slander when I did nothing wrong. And me being scared, not knowing what to do, I gave him what he wanted out of pure fear. Because I didn't know what he was capable of.
Cyraxx, there was no pew to your body in any way, shape, or form. How people view you on the internet is absolutely ruined already. I just can't think in a reasonable world why you would admit that to Tibbs, who you thought was your friend. Now,
and I figured that maybe if I gave him what he wanted, he would go away. I eventually began to ignore it.
No, never. There was like 2 weeks. This is like an addict when they're like, I was sober for a time. How long was you sober? I was sober for like a week and a half. Worst week and a half of my life. It's like, that doesn't count. It just doesn't. I mean, you tried. Congratulations, but you still failed.
Up until last year, when Music Biz Marty had passed away from a fentanyl dose. And then William Glory Hole took over as the head of the trolling community, like of that branch. He's been doing nothing but fear-mongering. He has openly told me to my face that I am not allowed to make money, nor am I allowed to earn a living.
Well, anyone can tell you that, Cyraxx.
It takes to keep me from making a living. He's openly admitted to stealing my music and my content on several occasions. Every time I try to make money, they falsely report whatever I'm on to get me shut down. These people have even gone as far as me to try to kill me on multiple occasions.
I'm telling you, he's got like the mystery crew coming at him. Ice bullets, ghost vans. I don't even know what's next. I don't. Invisible people running at him all of a sudden. I mean, come on, Rax.
Nothing. The police here have labeled me and my family as 43s, which means mentally disturbed, and we're not. There is a very real situation going on. Jars of paint dropped on our house. As far as having an IED, or more commonly known as an improvised explosive device, sent to my house in the form of an Xbox One.
No, that's not true. You just did the stupidest thing possible.
Now
I heard it. Every single time.
Okay,
I could mildly understand it if you want to put cheats on your Xbox for some reason, and then you plug in a kill stick, right? And it just destroys your system. Alright, what's the saying, guys? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, I mean, I may as well hang it up. I may as well wave the white flag because you're just gonna cook me every single time. I'm telling you guys, Cyraxx is a human being from a long time ago. Back when we was all cavemen and cave women, when we was all walking around, we're like, hey, you see that plant right there? I don't know if it's edible or not. But I'm not gonna try it because I'm a little too intelligent to just eat some random down on the ground, but I know someone perfect for this. Oof over here. Oof is Cyraxx in 2026, but back in the prehistoric times, perfect person. You grab Oof, you say, hey Oof, will you eat that plant right there? I heard it's tasty. They eat it, either they make it or they don't. If they make it, we got a plant we could eat now. If they don't, now we know you don't eat that mushroom, and the world goes on. But as time went on and we figured everything out, people like Cyraxx, they lost their use, and now we're just left with them. It's a shame. It's a shame.
And as of recently, they have, as of last year, like late, they pretended to have a court case against them. And William showed up to my house for the lawyer, which it turned out it wasn't. He pretended to be a government official or somebody that like deals with, picking up and collecting evidence. And so once he collected everything and I signed my name on that slip, not knowing what was going on, the very next day during the Zoom call.
Is he talking about the trial?
Halfway through the proceedings, they showed a video
of
him burning over $4,000 in electronics of my personal belongings.
Hey, how much?
Him burning over $4,000 in electronics.
Okay, $4,000 worth of electronics. I know you made Sally scrape together every last dollar of hers to buy that, well, I guess ship out all of your materials so they could be investigated, right? But no way in hell were they valued at $4,000. All right, I got 2 screens around me. I got a pretty good computer, right? I got a PS5 and a Switch 2, all within my vicinity at the moment. That is not $4,000 combined. A matter of fact, it's barely scraping $2,000 at the most, right? That's it. And the PC was just like, oh, I better get this for content because my last one sucked. All right, and if I didn't have that, it would be way, way, way lower. 4K, it's insane.
Of my personal belongings. And those items were a Nintendo Wii, an Xbox One S, an Xbox 360,
Chance! Aren't you thankful for that? Aren't you thankful for that, Chance?
a 2 terabyte hard drive that a personal friend sent to me to use for my music and whatever I was doing. They also burned a computer that was worth $150 that I had bought myself when I first got paid out by Twitch.
You got, wait,
And
wasn't
they
it $126?
Also burned a computer that was gifted to me by a very close friend of mine that was worth over $1,000. And I watched that stuff be torched.
He didn't look too affected during the court case. I was melting inside. I could feel the hard drives just peeling away. I felt that physically. They were like my children. Every single day I got up, I played with them all day. And I loved them. I dreamt about them. And you're gonna take my child away from me? What else do I have in this world? I've got nothing now.
Their worst one yet hit hard like a truck.
Oh, now we're at the good part, guys.
Pretended she wanted to be with me. And for a while, we weren't. Little did I know that was all a stage setup to destroy my property all last year now. It was around Christmas time, and she had sent me a gift that I had gotten here about a week and a half from what she originally planned. So I opened it up, and it was a brand new wheel rig. And me being excited, and me not thinking anything of it, I went and I plugged it in until we can get both me and her a proper setup, because she wanted to get into racing, which I was honestly, as a guy, I was ecstatic. So, I explained to her, like, hey, I'll package everything up, whenever, you get down here for New Year's, I can hand you everything, and that's fine. And then I can use my new one. Well, when I plugged it in, after I got done unplugging my old rig, I went to plug it into the back of my Xbox, like you normally would do. And what happened next would make my stomach sink.
Did I?
Because I had just bought that Xbox Series X that I have. I just bought that a few weeks ago for $700 because my ex Jackie sent me $700 to buy a new Xbox. And when I plugged it in, I figured maybe that it was overpowered, that she had gotten the wrong model, or whatever, because that can happen. If you have a device that's too powerful for the Xbox, it won't work.
Well, I have, for a majority of my life, since the Xbox 360 came out, I was an Xbox guy until like the PS5. Everybody knew the Series X was garbage. Well, it's not garbage. I like the Series S a little bit. But the PS5 is just a better console this time around. And you can tell Microsoft gave up a little bit. But never once have I plugged anything in it and been like, oh, this is overpowered. Right? The only time that has ever happened in my life is when I bought the original Xbox 360 and it red ringed of death. That's it. And I think it was because of overheating, right?
And this right here, this is all that's left. Another troll by the name of CVG decided to climb up on top of our neighbor's roof and shine a green laser through my window And at first I thought I was staring at the game thinking like, oh, maybe it's just whatever, but no. You go to look. And me and Ed Ed was sitting down. My mom was shutting not the iron rod bar door, but the main door. Because she knows how to get it shut, because our door has a hard time shutting sometimes. And she knows how to get it better than me or Ed does.
Man, Sally is sick. She doesn't have that many years left on this earth. I get why Ed might not be able to do it. The dude is perked out, has no knees, and his neck can barely move. Makes a little bit of sense. Brax, why can you not slam the door shut better than anyone in that house?
Completely shattered.
Rax?
A couple of days later, as to my mom and stepdad Ed's van.
I remember when this happened, right? I heard that the glass got shattered in the car, and I was waiting, guys. I'm like, all right, Cyraxx is going to make a video on this, and he is going to crash out, and we got a nice video coming along. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I kept waiting. Nothing. Not a word from Cyraxx. He was I think this was around Cassandra time, or when he was talking to, he was in the middle of talking to a lot of girls, right? He was getting catfished left and right. He could not care one bit about the glass getting smashed. He's taken this long to finally put it into a sympathy story, because the reason why it didn't affect him at all. It did not affect him at all. He was far more busy playing Fortnite than to think about someone throwing a rock through his grandmother's car door. Like, if Sally and Ed were yelling at him about it, we would have heard it. But I guess they just didn't care. I don't know. Excuse me. I guess they just didn't bother Rax about it. Makes no sense. Makes no sense, but that's how it went. You just didn't care at all, Rax, but now you're just like, all right, let's add it to the story.
This isn't the first time they had done this, neither. A couple years prior to that, they had thrown a brick through the windshield of my mom's Kia, to where we had to replace the windshield, to where we barely had a Christmas that year. And then New Year's rolled around. Me and Cassandra were talking about, her going down here for New Year's, because she was going to meet me at the mall, and we were going to come back here to my place, so I can introduce her to Mom and Ed, and, me and her could get a place of our own for, New Year's and spend New Year's together. We were going to get a motel or something. Excited. Well, little did I know that was all a lie. They tricked me into going out to the mall. I got to the mall. A couple of my friends FaceTimed me on my phone, said she was kidnapped. Showed me the video and everything, and at the time I thought it was real. So I went looking for help.
You really didn't accomplish anything. Like, the only thing that was accomplished was people probably calling the cops as you sprinted past them in the mall, screaming for a phone charger. Like, I know you don't go outside enough to realize that you look like every head in the world, but that is exactly what you look like. A crazy man who got let loose in the mall, who's been smoking on the pipe just a little bit too long that day, and has somehow found himself here. Out of all the places in the world, he's landed here to bug you.
4.5 hours of being stuck up at the mall, both inside and out, looking for help. At the time, thinking that my fiance at the time, my now ex.
Has Cyraxx ever been to the mall with a woman? Or, you've been there 4 hours, maybe minimum. You might get lucky and you leave in 2, Rax. How long has it been since Sally has taken you anywhere? How much of a degenerate do you have to be in your high school years for your mom to actively choose not to take you out with her because you cause problems?
And so I made a report to the police. And in the back of my mind, I did keep in mind that it could be a troll, but I wasn't. In my mind, I overrode that. I was thinking, like, why would somebody joke about that? Why would somebody pretend to be kidnapped? That didn't make sense to me. Well, thankfully, the officer helped me to get. And that bus got me back home. The next day would roll around, I would find out that it was all a setup. And that they tricked me into going up there so that I could be followed.
I mean, with the body, I swear, you know, when like you crack your back or your neck, there's like a thought in your head like, oh man, I hope that shifted something a little bit, you know, in like a good way, make me feel a little bit better. But when Rax cracks his neck, I swear it almost sounds like a bone is moving in it.
Made a Facebook of over 9,000 people dedicated to harassing me. They've even gone as far as cutting our cable to where we've had to have cable people out here several times to replace the wire, which, by the way, is a federal offense. Because when you cut someone's internet line, you're not only fucking a government business who is paid through the government to do what they do. They at one point did a DDoS attack on my gaming PC that's worth over $1,000, one of the ones that was destroyed, to where I could not do anything. They were in my computer and I couldn't get them out. To where they bricked it to where I was getting no signal or power from the motherboard or the graphics card.
All right. His story has bored me for a little bit.